Let's practice drawing. You can see here, creating a three-dimensional cube looks more 3D when you add shading. Take a look and identify the light, medium, and dark values made with a pencil. The lines are important too. Look at the straight vertical lines and horizontal lines this artist used. Take a look here. Here we have shading with dots. This is stippling. The closer together the dots get, the darker the value is. The further apart they are, the lighter the value. Even look in the water. What kind of lines did they use to create the water? No waves here. These lines are horizontal and different lengths, and it does create a nice water texture. Take a look at the diagonal converging lines to create the pier that you see going out over the water. How many of you have found one of these in your yard? You blow all the little pretty flowers off of the dandelion to make a wish. This artist, you can see movement by one little piece flying off. What kind of lines did they use? We see some values in the center with even some scribble zigzags, and then the actual little sprigs coming off of it are straight with different lengths coming off. We have some diagonals with different lengths. Let's get to drawing. I have some ideas for you. You can use these that I've just discussed, or take a look at these. Sketchbook practice ideas with pencil. So for this project, all you need is a pencil and some white paper. And if you have a stapler, if not, I can show you how to work with that. But here are some pencil techniques, practice chart ideas that would help you with your drawing. So let's take a look at these. The first lines are called vertical. These are vertical lines. They go up and down. Horizontal lines are laying down with the horizon. Diagonal lines are slanted lines, like the slide that you would slide down on the playground. Wavy lines can be deep waves and hills, or just slight waves. Zigzag lines have corners and straights. Cross hatching. This is a technique of using two different kinds of lines, vertical and horizontal, or diagonal lines. You would combine those together to cross over. Notice how it makes a nice texture and the value gets darker. Stippling is dots. So the closer together you make your dots, the darker the value is. Curved lines. Shading, we can use light, medium, medium dark, and dark values in our drawings to make them look like they have more depth and detail. So this is using the side of your pencil. I'll show you that in just a few moments. And then down here we have, these are just some choice designs that we did in a project. These were some spiral lines, shapes that were shaded to kind of look like bricks. Here is a triangle that has been shaded and added values to look like it's a 3D cone. And then here we have horizontal lines that are different lengths. So let me show you this sketchbook idea. So here's mine right here. All I did was I took some white copy paper and I cut it into strips, and then I folded it and I stapled it. So this is a miniature sketchbook. Is what I would call it, a mini art. So on the front, I designed it to represent me. This is Mrs. Lindsay's sketchbook. So for this, I'm gonna be just using pencil. Okay. So vertical lines, just practice with that. Close together, far apart. You can see what this could do with your drawings. This is horizontal, close, different lengths, far apart. And you can just practice with these. And then the cross hatching. You can play around with spreading those out there. But just use some of these pages to practice different types of lines, and then just for drawing whatever you want. Use these lines to help you draw what you see or what you want to draw. So I will demonstrate a cylinder. So a cylinder, if I were looking at, let's just say I'm looking at this right here, it has an ellipse for the top. That's a squished circle because of the angle that I'm looking at. And this cup has slight diagonal lines that curve in, and it is clear. So I can see an ellipse on the bottom of this cup here. Sketchy lines are good in a sketchbook. You can erase or add to. Now I also see the water line is also another ellipse, and it's kind of down low. This is where the water is hitting the top of my cup there. So here I have my form pretty much drawn in, and I just want to use my imagination now. So in my mind, I'm going to add a straw, and it is transparent. This cup is transparent, so you would see my straw going into the cup, and I'm going to have it be those kind that kind of curve over. Add a little ellipse on the end, some lines to show where it's curving over, and another ellipse there. And maybe this was lemonade, and I'm getting to the bottom of it. There's some cubes of ice. You could practice drawing cubes, starting with a square and diagonal lines coming from the corners. Create your parallel lines. And there we have, there's one cube. There's another. Just play around. These are actual cubes of ice, okay? And then maybe this is sitting on a table. See the table's edge. And let's see, I could add a pattern on my tablecloth. Maybe there's diagonal lines on the tablecloth. Add some value on the table with a little shadow. And what could I draw behind this? I think I'll have a window on the wall that I am daydreaming about what I could see through that window. This is transparent, so I can draw straight through it and add my little windowsill. This could be a mirror, this could be a piece of art on the wall, but I want it to be a window. So here's my window panes. And through this window, I could see the sun shining and maybe some mountains. I'm daydreaming what I might see. Some snow on the top maybe, with some trees. Could just get creative. Maybe some birds flying off, some clouds, and maybe there's some pattern on the wall. It's vertical. You could just keep going, but just use this to experiment with drawing. Experiment with shading. You can use the front and backs of these pages. When I try to add value, I like to use the side of my pencil because I have more graphite showing. So the harder you press down, the darker the value, and the lighter you press down, the lighter the value. And a great experiment with this is just coloring the page with your pencil just trying to create those different values. You could take your pencil eraser and you could use the subtractive method. That means take away pencil by erasing it. I'm drawing a heart. You could even go back in and accent the edge of where you erase. So you could add more value. And just play around with this. Have fun.